soldiers or the Israeli government in general to justice. What actions should people like me and others in this room be taking now that we have the facts?
Okay, as I mentioned, we need activists in our network. What we are trying to do, we're going to publish or to launch a website with names of victims, children victims, and with names the ranks of these soldiers and those to do the killing. By this website, we wanted to circulate it, of course, and who's going to help us with this? Activists, because international law experts can help us raise this case into a special court. But we need also other activists to be part of the work that we are doing and to circulate all the publication that we are doing, all the articles, the pictures, the crimes, etc., especially after we launch this website. So we might take into consideration each activist's skills and what he can offer to this network. And I'm sure that we can use everybody's skill in this, everybody's effort in this huge effort. At least we want to point at this state as an apartheid and criminal state, apartheid that is using terror against the Palestinian people. And it's going beyond the apartheid of South Africa. In South Africa, apartheid was actually directed against the blacks, but it didn't, for example, take their land. It didn't expel them. It didn't, use the crimes that the Israelis are using against us. Israelis are taking our land, taking our water, taking our our air is being polluted by the Israelis, and all these crimes, nobody is looking at it, especially within this Middle East that is burning and that is boiling, and Israel is part of this whole crimes committed not only against the Palestinians, but regionally and internationally. We wanted to show that this criminal state, this apartheid state, is really dangerous on us as Palestinians, on the whole region, and internationally as well. Of course, their role in Ukraine, their role in Georgia before, their role in some other African countries like Sudan, for example, the division of Sudan. The Israelis have their fingerprints in the division of Sudan, and also in the war against the Yemenis. The Israeli jets or pilot Yemenis. So all these crimes that is an alarm for every activist on this earth to join forces together and see what we can do.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question? Okay, All right, so, hi, my name is,
Hi.
Hi, my name is Chance. I'm the president of Students for Justice in Palestine here at Kent State. I only said that so I had time to think of a question. So what organization are you specifically a part of? And in addition to the website that you guys are creating, what other projects do you guys have that are going to be coming up soon? And lastly, sorry, these are a lot of questions at once, but did you guys face any backlash while you were shooting the movie? Did anyone try to stop you, and how has the movie been perceived within the West Bank and within Palestine as a whole?
Okay, we haven't started, I will start with your third question. We haven't started showing it in the West Bank, but there is a plan that we are going to start screening it in the West Bank and in 1948. Why? Because, which is very important for us, because we need people to start taking these crimes to a court of law. Even if this Israeli court of law is not going to help us, even if it's not going to rule in favor of the victims or and their families, but we wanted to raise the awareness of the public here, of Palestinians here. That's the only way that we can stop this, these criminals from continuing from their continuous crimes against the children and against Palestinians is by collecting information, collecting data, and present this to a court of law. We need to continue doing this. Actually, this is not something in pattern that the Palestinians are doing. That's why we want to raise awareness, and that's why we are starting to do this in law schools and different universities. Of course, we are going to face lots of problems. We are, especially if we go also in 1948, maybe in the West, and not going to face problems by the Israelis. But if we go in 1958, and I'm sure that we're gonna, there is a backlash against us by Israeli police, and they might be preventing us from screening it. Some of the universities. So this is one of the important projects we are working on here locally. The second question, your first question, where did we screen it before? Was that your first question?
No, my first question was just what organization are you a part of? Because I didn't think I caught that earlier.
Yeah, okay. Our foundation is called Sheikh Hassan Foundation for Culture and Science.
Okay.
Sheikh Hassan Alawi was in prison for 44 years, from 1939 during the British occupation until 1983. Between 1948 until 1968, nobody knew where the whereabouts are. So this is also one of the things that we are trying to get more information about through the British Archive, in order also to raise a case against the British and against the Israeli, because in international law, this is called enforced imprisonment, which means that we still can hold them accountable. We can still hold the British and the Israelis accountable for the crimes that they committed against Sheikh Hassan. There are also other people like Sheikh Hassan whom we are still trying to dig in and get their information, document their cases. So that's why we, in our foundation, we really care about prisoners, administrative prisoners, prisoners who are also suffering from chronic illness, from cancer, etc., and children detainees, children who are under town arrest, because Israelis are starting to put children under town arrest as well. So these are the cases that we are taking care of, and assassination of children is part of what we are doing in general.